Audi's S4, it doesn't need any introduction. Everyone knows what it is. Is it any good? Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the 2017 onwards Audi S4. It's the B9, and this particular version fitted with the 3-litre V6 turbocharged engine, producing around about the 350 brake horsepower. So we're going to start talking about the engine. It's a cracking engine. A lot of people criticise it. It's very quiet compared to the previous V8 incarnations. And it's all down to personal choice. When you're cruising up and down the motorway and something like this, you've got the kids in the back, you've got a boot full of shopping. The last thing you want is reaching for the paracetamol to try and get rid of the headache. So they've dumbed it down, they've quietened him up, but it's like all cars. You can modify it, you can make them sound louder. It's a fantastic customizable engine. So sound-wise, don't worry about that. Problem-wise, they're not too bad. As I say, this particular version introduced in 2017, we don't see a great deal of them. So fault-wise, we've still got the issues that Audi always seem to have: coil packs, spark plugs. We've seen the occasional injector failure. We do get some ticking noises from the high-pressure fuel pump. We haven't heard of any issues yet with regards to timing chain. So hopefully that's one of the things they've finally got right on this particular model. We do, however, get some rattles from the turbos, not terminal, so we're not talking the main body of the turbo, but the actual wastegate control, or the actuator if you prefer. Engine related still, coolant. So they have had issues with this engine previously with regards to water pump, thermostat. A lot of it is to do with the material that they use. They're using a lot of high-grade plastic, but obviously if it's getting hot, cold, it can warp, it can twist, and then we start to get slightly irritating leaks. Another thing that people do complain about, not necessarily a problem, but something to watch out for or to bear in mind if you're going to purchase yourself one of these, is oil consumption. So most of these modern cars now, the oil is getting thinner, which is obviously, it's intended, it's designed to work in these modern engines. But because it's thinner, you do get through it a little bit more. So you get a lot of customers complaining that they're going through a lot of oil, they're having to top it up in between their scheduled servicing. But it isn't necessarily a problem. So most manufacturers now will sort of turn around and tell you that it's not unusual to use around about half a litre of oil for every 1,000 kilometres. So this is essentially the RS4's smaller brother. It doesn't stand out as much, it's not as aggressive looking, but still pumping out 350 brake, so it still shifts a little. What you need to be careful of though with this particular type of engine, they like to be driven. If you're just pottering around, you're going to end up with carbon buildup inside the engine. This is going to give you problems, cold start misfires, rough running, poor fuel consumption. So, make sure it gives it the run that it deserves. So, Audi A4s, S4s, RS4s, they're all very different, but they all share the multi-link suspension on the front and the rear of the vehicles. Makes it very comfortable, makes it very quiet, handles superb around corners, as I'm sure most owners would agree with you. What we do have to look out for though, multi-link suspension, that's a lot of movement, that's a lot of suspension arms, a lot of bushes and ball joints. We do get creaking noises, we get worn gaiters, we get clunking noises. Most of it is pretty straightforward to do. We have occasionally come across I suppose what we technically call as mystery noises. It's something that the customer can't explain, and it's something that we can't reproduce except when it's in reverse, 3 miles an hour, full lock, on a particular hill, on a particular drive, in a particular part of the country. Eventually, we do get to the bottom of them. For the most part, it is quite a simple repair. So if you do get a squeak, you do get a knock, don't worry too much, just come and see us and we'll get it sorted for you. Okay, so normally at this point in the video we'll start waffling on and on and on about all the various issues that you're going to come across if you're looking for one of these or if you own one of these. But this is a bit unusual because a slight combination of the age of the vehicle, so 2017 onwards, it's not particularly old. We haven't seen a great deal, many issues with these. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to have a quick run round and we're going to combine the mechanical, the electrical faults that we often come across with these. So it's nice and short, it's nice and sweet. We do replace discs, pads. It is a serviceable item, but we do get quite a few of them with sort of premature wear, vibrations, juddering, that sort of thing. Generally speaking, this kind of vehicle does have moments where it's driven quite, spiritedly. So that's probably the main reason for brake wear. If we sort of stroll down the back of the vehicle, interior wise, electrical wise, we haven't seen a lot of problems. We don't get a lot of problems. One issue we have come across a couple of times, the gear lever is not really a gear lever anymore. It's not attached to the gearbox. It's just a tiny little electrical switch fitted in the center console, designed to look like a gear lever. And unfortunately, there have been occasions where you go to put it in gear, it doesn't go into gear. We have replaced a few of these gear levers. It is an issue we have seen, so we're going to put that down as a common problem. Something else we've spoken about before on previous models, on other brands, you get problems with the fuel flap, the door itself not opening. Doesn't happen to all of them. But it did happen to this one. So, all in all, that's very disappointing. Well, it's not disappointing from your point of view because there isn't a lot to go wrong with these cars. Certainly not at the moment, not that we've seen. So, we've got minutes left of the video. I could just stand here and do nothing. But let's talk about modifications. So, GTEC Motorworks, we do modifications. We've already seen a few of these in. Like I said earlier, people think they're a little bit quiet. So if we're talking about modifications, it's a V6 engine, it's already quite powerful, it's turbocharged. There's no reason why you can't get these remapped. Get yourself a little bit more power, a little bit more torque. Gearboxes, you want to get the gearbox mapped. It'd certainly benefit if if you're having the modifications done, if you're having the vehicle remapped, get the gearbox done, make sure they're perfectly matched and you're not getting sort of any knotty changes, any missed gears. With regards to the rest of it, so there's already quite a few bits and pieces on the market. There's a lot of styling kits available for these to make them look a bit more like the RS. If that's your thing, I mean, it's a subtle car. It's designed for those kind of people that they've got a job to do, but they want to go quick every now and again without saying I'm going quick. Underneath the car, we can take out the resonators, we can put straight pipes on them, you can leave your catalytic converters intact. It'll get you a bit more power, it'll get you a bit more noise, sounds a bit more throaty, a little bit more like the V8s used to sound like. And again, with regards to modifications under the bonnet, I think probably one of the first things you want to do, you want to uprate your coil packs. You want to be sticking the coils in from the R8 V10. They're pretty much a straightforward swap. High performance plugs. There are already companies that are producing turbos for these, bigger intercoolers. Styling wise, as I say, there's a lot of companies out there that are doing stuff to, make them a little bit more sporty. If that's your thing, there's also lowering kits available for these. Some people are also taking out the adaptive suspension, going for the coilovers or for electronically adjustable suspension. There are dozens of wheels available for these. Again, make them handle a little bit better, make them look a little bit better. It just depends really on what you're looking for. Don't forget, if you are looking to get these modifications done, we do the modifications. We also do the remaps, both for the engine and the gearbox. So check GTEC Motorworks out. for all of your remapping and tuning requirements. So there we are, the S4, the 5th generation, the B9 model number. Wasn't really a lot to say about it. There's not really a lot to say about it now. It's a cracking car, it's a great looking car, it handles well, it shifts, it does everything you want it to do. Okay everyone, so thank you very much for joining us on this video. We hope to bring you another one very, very soon. If you've liked what you see, you want to see more, don't forget to click those buttons, the like, subscribe and share, and we will see you next time on the next video.